Hey everyone, Chris here again. We'll be rescaping the 150 gallon living room display tank here pretty soon. And I needed to trim some plants and separate some plants out to use for that scape. Most of the plants that we'll be using are going to be rhizome type plants, Anubias, Java Fern, Bolbitis, etc. So I figured now would be a good time to do a quick video on how to propagate those type of plants. Either the ones you get straight from the big box store, such as these top fin ones from PetSmart, or ones that you've grown out on your own. So stay tuned. The rhizome plants we'll be working with today are going to be this Bulbitis hootalati here that I've been growing out. I keep it mainly attached to Toya cactus wood or any other type of wood, as well as lava rocks. You can also super glue it onto other types of rocks, but it grabs onto lava rock by itself. And we're also going to be working with this Windelov Java Fern and normal Java Fern, as well as this Anubias congensis, Anubias nana, and some more Windelov Java Fern from Top Fin from PetSmart. We're going to start with this Windelov Java Fern here, one of the portions that I grew out myself. And the main thing you're going to be wanting to do here is just making sure you have, 2 or 3 good leaves, as well as a good chunk of rhizome, which is the long skinny part right there I'm holding with my fingers. As you can see, I kept 3 to 4 leaves on each side. We split that one into 2. And then this Bolbitis here, Bolbitis is a little easier. You can usually break it without having to cut it or anything. And you'll notice this little node here, that is a whole new rhizome that's going to be growing out. So I'm going to cut it right after that. That way it can continue to grow out and continue to go the way it's going. And then on this one, there's another node that I found here, right there on that side, and that's going to be another piece of rhizome that comes out. So I'm going to cut it right past that as well. Got 3 pieces off of that one. I probably could have trimmed a couple of those pieces in half and made it into 5 or 6, but I didn't need that much, so we went ahead and left it into a little bit bigger of a chunk. This is a huge chunk that I've been growing on some lava rock here. As you can see, it's grown quite a bit, got really bushy. Notice the small little roots coming down. Those grab into the holes and pores in the lava rock and keep it attached to it. As I said, a lot of the times you can break this stuff off. When it's got one of those nodes like I showed earlier that's already grown a few leaves, you can just snap that off of the main rhizome and you've got a whole new plant. And as a matter of fact, that one was 2 rhizomes that were growing right next to each other. I got 2 pieces, just breaking what I thought was 1 extra node off of there. And as you can see here, we got a new leaf and then another new leaf and a couple bigger leaves. And this thing really grew weird. It was all twisted and wrapped back around on itself, but it did grow quite a bit, and there was a lot that I got out of just this one piece. Probably about a year's worth of growth there. You can usually be pretty rough with these plants. You're not really going to hurt them. They are very tough, especially the Bulbitis. It's also called African water fern. and it goes through some pretty harsh conditions there, so there's probably not a whole lot that we're going to be able to do to hurt it too much. The Anubias, Java Fern, and Bolbitis, they're all very hardy plants. This also includes Bucephalandra, which I didn't have any of, or I would have showed you how to trim that as well, but it'll be very similar to the Java Fern and the Anubias. You'll just want to be a little more careful with that. Alright, let's get to the top fin ones. Take them out of the jar here. Of course, you want to get them out and everything, and you want to rinse them in just some clean tap water to get all the extra stuff that's wrapped around the roots off of it. And a lot of the times these things will be threaded together, already cut up into multiple pieces, but they trim them into bigger pieces, and you can usually cut those pieces into halves and make it into 4 or 5 instead of 2 or 3. And that's kind of what we did here. Even this little piece here doesn't have any leaves or anything, but that is a chunk of rhizome with roots. That'll typically grow pretty decently as long as you put it up close to the light. That way it has a chance to sprout out a leaf fairly soon. This Anubias congensis here wasn't big enough to trim into any more pieces, but you would do it the same as I'm going to do this Nana here. And you can see there's natural type breaks on these Anubiases, and you can just follow those. Of course, you want to make sure there's a little bit of roots on each side, but other than that, just slice it down the middle like that, and you've got 2 new Anubias plants that'll just continue to grow on their own. And this will apply to all types and varieties of Anubias. If you have any other questions, please ask. Make sure you drop a like on your way out, and make sure you're subscribed and have that notification bell hit if you want to see that 150-gallon scape happen and some of our other projects coming up. Y'all have a good one.